The first time I caught Karen stealing electricity from my house, I thought I was seeing things. There she was, right in broad daylight, plugging her electric scooter into the side outlet of my home like it was her personal charging station. At first I thought, no way. She can't be that bold. Oh, but she was. And little did she know, her little freeloading habit was about to backfire in the most shocking way possible. Let me explain how we got here. I live in a suburban neighborhood with an HOA. Yeah, one of those HOAs. The kind that loves to micromanage everything from the color of your mailbox to how long your grass is. They hand out violation letters like Halloween candy. And at the center of it all was Karen, the self-appointed queen of the HOA. She wasn't officially the president, but she acted like she was. Loud, nosy, and bossy, she walked around with a clipboard and an attitude, ready to report anyone for breaking community standards. But the one rule she conveniently ignored? Basic respect for other people's property. It all started when I came home from work one afternoon. I pulled into my driveway, and what do I see? Karen's bright pink scooter sitting right next to my garage. And worse, an orange extension cord snaked from my outdoor outlet straight into her scooter. I was stunned. She didn't even ask. Didn't leave a note. Nothing. Just decided, oh, free electricity. Why not? I walked over and said, Karen? Why is your scooter plugged into my house? She didn't even look embarrassed. She just waved her hand and said, oh, don't worry, it doesn't use much. You won't even notice it on your bill. Excuse me? It wasn't about the money, it was about the audacity. But before I could argue, she rolled her eyes, unplugged it, and rode off like nothing happened. I thought maybe it was a one-time thing. But no. Over the next few weeks, I started catching her again and again. Sometimes during the day, sometimes at night. Whenever she thought I wasn't home, she'd sneak over, plug in, and let her scooter juice up on my dime. I even checked my security camera footage. There she was, bold as brass, plugging in at 11 p.m. like she owned the place. At that point, I knew this wasn't an accident. She knew exactly what she was doing. I tried being polite. One Saturday morning, I walked over while she was charging again and said, Karen, I really need you to stop using my outlet. It's not for public use. Her response? A laugh. Oh, come on. You're being dramatic. It's just a scooter. You probably spend more running your AC in an hour than I do charging this thing all week. That wasn't the point, and she knew it. But when I pushed back, she suddenly pulled out the classic HOA threat. Well, if you really want to be picky, I can start noticing some violations around your property. Your lawn isn't exactly regulation length, you know. That's when I realized Karen thought she was untouchable. The final straw came one evening when I got home late. I pulled into my driveway and found, not just her scooter, but her and her husband's electric bikes plugged into my outlet with a power strip. They'd basically turned the side of my house into their personal charging station. That night, as I stared at my security footage of the freeloaders draining my electricity, I made a decision. If Karen wanted to play games, fine. But I was about to change the rules. Now, I'm not an electrician, but I know my way around some basic wiring. And my outdoor outlet? It's connected to a GFCI breaker. Translation. With the right adjustment, I could make it so that every time someone tried to draw power from that outlet, it would instantly trip the breaker, cutting electricity not just to the outlet, but to her little charging stunt. And the best part? It would only affect her when she tried to steal. So late one night, I got to work. I rewired the outlet just enough so that any heavy draw, like, say, a scooter battery, would cause an instant trip. Then I waited. The very next day, like clockwork, Karen waddled over with her scooter. She glanced around, made sure no one was watching, then plugged in. I was watching through my security feed, barely able to hold in my laughter. At first, nothing happened. She scrolled on her phone, sipping her iced coffee, waiting for her scooter to charge. And then, click. The breaker tripped. Her scooter beeped, the outlet went dead, and she jumped up, looking confused. She unplugged it, plugged it back in. Click. Dead again. She frowned, muttered something under her breath, and stomped off. But Karen wasn't about to give up that easily. The next evening, I saw her back again, this time with a different cord. She plugged it in, smirked like she'd beaten the system, and then, click, her scooter died again. This time she got mad. She started banging on the side of my house, yelling, "Your outlet's broken. You need to fix this." I opened my window and called out, "Oh, sorry, Karen. Must be faulty wiring. Probably not safe to use. I wouldn't plug anything into it if I were you." The look on her face? Priceless. But of course, Karen being Karen, she didn't stop. A few days later, I came home to find a long extension cord stretched from my outlet all the way across the lawn, straight into her garage. She decided to just leave her stuff plugged in all day, hoping I wouldn't notice. So what happened when she overloaded it with not one, not two, but 3 devices? The breaker tripped, not just the outlet, but half the circuit. It killed the power to her garage too. She came storming over, red-faced, screaming, "Your outlet knocked out in my garage. Now my freezer's off and all my food is thawing." I just shrugged. Weird. Guess that's what happens when you mess with faulty wiring. Of course, Karen couldn't keep her mouth shut. She started ranting at the next HOA meeting about how someone's dangerous wiring was sabotaging her property. But that's when another neighbor spoke up, "Wait a second. Why were you using his outlet in the first place?" The room went quiet. Karen stammered, tried to spin some excuse about community sharing, but by then, the damage was done. Everyone knew the truth. She'd been freeloading off me, and now she'd embarrassed herself in front of the whole HOA. From that day on, Karen stopped charging from my house. In fact, she avoided even walking on my side of the street. The HOA never backed her up, because let's face it, even they couldn't justify stealing electricity. My electric bill went back to normal, and peace was restored. At least until Karen found some other way to stir up drama. So what's the takeaway here? It's simple. Respect other people's property. Electricity, water, packages, lawn space, it doesn't matter. If it's not yours, don't take it. Karen thought she was clever, thought she could get away with stealing without consequences. But the truth is, sometimes karma doesn't just come quietly. Sometimes it comes with a big loud click and leaves you standing there in the dark. And that's how I turned Karen's little freeloading scheme into her own personal power outage. So let me ask you, what would you have done if your neighbor kept stealing your electricity? Would you have rewired the outlet like I did, or gone for something even crazier, like setting up a camera trap or a prank alarm? Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wild tales just like this one. Because trust me, when you live next to a Karen, the drama never really stops.